This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call the caucus meeting of March 2nd, 2021 to order. Present are council members Broussard, Williamson, Schuman, Limpert, Heeman, Glassburn, and Kelly. The mayor, the law director, the finance director, human resources director, planning and development director, and our guest this evening. Are there any additions or corrections to the caucus meeting minutes of February 16th, 2021? Seeing none, those will stand as written. We have one piece of legislation on tonight's agenda to consider for suspension of the rules. That is on first reading 2021-20, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court to participate in the court's community diversion program. And Mayor.
Madam President, I think Chris Allegra is here, so I'll let her handle that.
Thank you. Ms. Allegra?
Thank you very much for having me this evening. This is an annual renewal for our contract with the Caucus County Juvenile Court. The contract has changed slightly from prior years with a maximum of $7,600. That's reduced by $400 from last year and the year prior. The payout is a little bit different this year, and we've asked for suspension of rules because the contract came to us late. We are currently not under a contract because our last contract expired December 31st of last year. The court did not send us the new contract until February. So it behooves us to get it back to them as soon as possible so that we can have the contract approved by the county council and executive and be able to commence receiving funds.
Thank you. Any questions from council members? Councilman Glassburn.
Thank you, Madam President. So have we not been provided this service for the last 2 months if the contract expired in December?
No, Mr. Glassburn, we continue to provide our services to youth already enrolled in our program and a few that came to us new in January. The biggest change that happens when the contract expires is that the court does not send us any new referrals until the contract has been initiated. So we are still working with youth who have been in our program since last year.
So for the past 2 months, I'm sorry, Madam President. So for the past 2 months, people that would be eligible for this program did not receive it because we didn't have the contract. Is that am I understanding correctly?
You are, but that's on the county's behalf because they've not made referrals to us because there's not been a contract. And we're not alone in that. This is a county-wide issue.
I'll yield for the moment. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Williamson.
Thank you. Sorry, I was having mic difficulties. Ms. Allegra, can you tell us, I guess historically, this contract has always gone from March to December, has it not?
No, actually the contract has varied over the years. In some cases, we've had contracts that lasted 2 years. We've had contracts that typically most of our contracts have been from January through December of a calendar year. It's only when the court gets the contracts to us late that we have had these bubbles where we don't have a current contract in place, and thus our referrals get interrupted.
But I recall last year we had the same issue where you came to us though in February for a contract that began in March. So again, we are still going 2 months out of contract from January and February, and I don't understand that. And also, I understand that this is trying to get passed on suspension, but if you had the contract in February, why is this the first meeting that we're having on it? May I ask? I guess I'm trying to understand what the delay has been.
Sure, I understand. There was no delay on our part. The contract was sent to the law department within 24 hours, if not the same day that I received it. This was just the first meeting since it arrived.
Okay.
So there's been no holdup on our end whatsoever. As soon as that contract arrives, I put it in motion. It's that the court has not provided the contract to us in a timely fashion.
Madam President, may I continue? Thank you. Well, how has the program been working with the inception of COVID? Has it been ongoing? Has it been stalled, delayed?
Thank you. Let me bring you up to date on that. I appreciate that question. It was stalled briefly in 2020 in March when all of this started. Of course, as you all know, we believed that the interruption was going to be a few weeks, and we've all learned and lived that that has not been the case. So we did adapt our procedures and protocols last year in order to account for City Hall being closed and the risk of in-person meetings. So we switched everything over to a virtual format. I do intake meetings with youth and their families via GoToMeeting. We're handling all our hearings that way via GoToMeeting. Our families that we're working with have been very receptive to handling things that way, and grateful that we've been able to maintain and continue services while we're not been able to provide services in person. Many of the interventions that we do, we're able to do somewhat remotely anyhow. We're still doing drug testing. We're still doing online coursework. We're still making referrals for counseling services and intervention programs. So the only thing that we've really changed up in terms of interventions is we're not using community service placements like we used to currently.
When is it? Has it been determined when that will start back up again?
It has not. We have done a little bit with community service when we felt it was safe, like during the summer months. We did use some service like at our pantry and at our mobile produce programs. But then as winter came along and numbers started rising, we kind of steered away from that again. I'm hoping as spring comes and we're able to find additional options where people can be separated or outdoors, that we will resume that as soon as possible.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Councilwoman Heeman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Allegra, I appreciate all of your hard work that you do, with the juvenile programs and also with our ox cart pantry. I think you do a phenomenal job at two very difficult tasks, right? My question is not directed to you. My question is directed to Director Lieber. I understand that, of course, in switching roles, this division is now under you, Director Lieber. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So my question to you is, when we did not have a contract, why did you not report that to council that we would be out of contract, so that we could at least have some knowledge or information that this was going on? I feel that it's been an unfair meeting to Ms. Allegra because of the tardiness of this contract, albeit that the county sent it to us late, but I would have expected a report from you about that.
My apologies. Ms. Allegra was out of the office a bit early in the year, and we didn't connect as routinely as we should have. I believe, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, that past contracts had a certain amount of money attached to them that the city was going to get no matter what. So even if we're out of contract for a month or two, eventually the intake would catch back up. So it really didn't interrupt services all that much. In this case, the payment model is we're being paid per client or customer referral. So it's more, the time sensitivity is higher in this case. We also have the ability since last year to operate our own programs. So council, if you recall, passed another ordinance. We still have JTIP and we still have the ability to maintain cases of our own. So we can choose to have police refer certain case types directly to our own program. So also that was another thing that we did because the county has been unreliable in terms of timing. So apologies for not alerting council to that fact sooner, but these other factors I think have helped continue us, Ms. Allegra, to provide those services.
Well, and that provides a great deal of comfort knowing that, our services to our juveniles are continuing. However, it does not provide any comfort to council that you did not make a report about a contract going to expire and we would not be having a new one. Thank you.
Any further questions from council members? Any objection to suspension? Moving into committee assignments. Resolution 2021-19, Public Safety, and Ordinance 2021-21, Intergovernmental. Looking to schedule committee meetings for next Tuesday, March 9th. Councilman Broussard.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. We will schedule a Public Safety, Health and Welfare Committee meeting at 7 p.m. Just looking at the agenda, I don't know that we're going to need more than 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll err on the side of caution and we'll go to 7:15. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Glassburn.
Thank you, Council President. In light of the council whole meeting, I think I'll handle this by just doing sponsor testimony, if you will. So 15 minutes should be enough, 7:30. And if we have additional items for later meetings, we will hold it in committee.
Thank you. And if it's council's pleasure at the meeting tonight, if Ordinance 2021-15 is removed with a council vote, then we will schedule a committee of the whole meeting at 7:30 for the purpose of discussing proposed amendments. And just also, council, to make you aware and put on your calendars, I will be calling a committee of the whole meeting on March 23rd, time to be determined. But the purpose of that committee of the whole meeting will be the discussion of returning to council chambers for our council meetings. Is there anything else for us before we roll into our meeting? Seeing none, we will conclude caucus at 7:58 p.m.
Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Williamson. Sorry, I didn't see your hand up.
Okay, I was going to jump up and down, but I was afraid I'd knock my computer over. We are canceling the BZD committee meeting this Wednesday, and I believe we are rescheduling it for March 23rd as well. Is that the correct date, Mr. Mastrollo?
I think that's kind of what we're looking at right now. I think that's kind of tentative that we're looking at, yeah.
Yes, okay, great, thank you. I just wanted to make that announcement.
Thank you.